Right. Let me know if you can hear my voice okay. I think we're all ready to go here.
I was over here like frantically going through my settings, like, I know I should be able to hear. Yeah, can hear you great.
Cool. All right, we'll start here in about 1 minute. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like because I'm sharing my whole screen. So you may see a bunch of stuff around the outside edge of what we're focusing on. Um, and that can be a little distracting, and I apologize for that. But I think that's going to be the easiest way for me to fly through what I have to fly through today. So that'll be cool. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Robert's with us. Vernon's here. Joy has just joined us. Good morning, Joy. And who else do we have? Ryan is on. Arnie is on. And that's it. We have a small crowd today. It's kind of interesting. All right, let's get started. And then just don't let me forget to get other people in as they join us. So, Ryan, can you tell if somebody tries to join and I haven't let them in? Can you tell that?
I can't because I'm not a host or co-host.
Okay.
But
right,
we can look at that in the future if you want, so I can help you
Okay.
with that.
I wasn't sure if you could tell or not. Okay, good. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this quick agenda here. Then I got some things I want to demo for you. But we're going to kind of pick up a little bit where we left off last week. I'm going to call this. We're going to talk about shooting at a moving target, and what I mean by that is, and this came up in a presentation that Ryan and I made earlier in the week, and that is, client said, "I have a question. Can you do?" And I always say the answer is yes. Now you go ahead and finish your question, just because I think we need to be, if we're gonna offer creative business solutions to people, then they're going to give us stuff in with the intention of either putting us off or trying to disrupt a presentation, whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. They're going to give you something. The people who continue to move the target are people you don't want to do business with. But if they move the target a time or two just because they've got to have some clarification, that's really important, which leads me to what I call the most fundamental law of the consult, and that's called the law of the one big thing. The one big thing is the client has something that's on their mind, and they're looking for an answer to the something, whatever that is. And it's really important to them, or they wouldn't ask. They trust you, or they'd ask somebody else. So when you understand those dynamics, it's really important. The client's going to ask you for something. It's going to be important to them, or they wouldn't ask about it. They trust you, or they would ask somebody else. So it's a big deal to them, even if it's not a big deal to you. And that's the reason why I kind of like and I said it tongue in cheek to the client that we were meeting with earlier in the week. But I literally mean that whatever the question is, the answer is yes. We're going to find an answer. It's either going to be a really good answer, or that's a really good question that's seeking an answer, or that's not something that you want to pursue. And so any one of those things are going to be beneficial to the client. But the answer our immediate response can't be no. It has to be yes, let's find a way to do that. I was talking with one of my clients on Saturday while sitting in the line to get the inspection done on our car. Here in Texas, you have to have an inspection done on your car. So I'm sitting in line to get the inspection done on my car. He calls. He said, I hate to ask this, but. Well, there's no reason why a client should ever hate to ask you anything, right? You want the client to ask you something. You want the client to have questions. And he said, I know you have to be able to do this. So if you don't mind me asking, of course I don't mind you asking. Does that make sense? This law of the one big thing is really, really important. And once you get your head wrapped around that, that when I'm consulting with the client, whether it's by text message or if it's an IM or however that consult's taking place, when the client asks a question, your immediate response should be yes. Not you don't have to say that out loud, but your immediate response should be yes. And then your brain should immediately start thinking about how do we make that happen? Okay. So let's apply some rules to this because I like rules that make it easy for me to follow. Creating business solution rules. A client's wants are more important than their needs. The client wants more traffic and more likes to his website. What they need is more conversions. There's a difference between the two, but they don't know how to ask for what they really need. They only know how to ask for what they think they want. Tell me if that makes sense to you? Because the client always gives you the things that they want rather than the things that they need. You understand that? That's really important. The client's wants. So I have to address the want more so than I have to address the needs, because I know what they really need, but what they want is the path to get them there. And then you intend to give them solutions that dazzle them. And the solution that dazzles them, I'm going to talk about dazzling in just a little bit. I mean, in fact, I'm going to show you kind of a cool little trick with dazzling. Okay, but the solutions are designed to dazzle the client. I'm not talking about sloppy bells and whistles that I see people throw into products these days. That is a slightly new twist on some old thing. But the dazzle should be that was exactly what I want. And it results in giving me the very thing that I need. Does that make sense? That's what I mean by dazzle. It satisfies that want to a degree that takes them over the top. I'll give you an example of that in just a little bit with one of the clients that I offered this solution to. And I had a way of presenting it that just absolutely blew his mind. Okay. The next one is be the bridge from the known to the unknown. People don't know what they need, but they know what they want. You have to be the bridge between the two. Are you tracking with what I mean when I say that? Be the bridge from the known to the unknown. The sixth law of the learners. You have to take people from what they know to what they don't know. And you need to be that bridge that gets them from what they know to what they don't know. They know what they want. They just don't know that that's what they don't know how to express what they need. And then the last one is to be confident and be enthusiastic. Be confident and enthusiastic. And when I was talking with my client on the phone on Saturday, he said, it's funny because when I ask you a question, I forget that you're a professional functioning at a level different than everybody else I've ever talked to. Because not only can you solve the problem, but you give it to me in a way that makes me glad I asked the question. Is that a client for life? Let me ask you, is that a client that's not going to fire me somewhere down the road because something didn't go exactly the way they thought it would be? Or is that building a relationship that is enduring? What do you think? Yeah, this is a person that you want to do business with, and you're the person that they're going to want to do business with. That's the kind of feedback that becomes extremely valuable. Can you put that in a sales page? Yeah, right. So that kind of feedback becomes extremely valuable to you. Let's take the confident, enthusiastic. I'm gonna give you some rules about some keys to confidence here. Number one, you make sure you do your homework. I'm working with this client that I mentioned about the Saturday client. That is an industry I know absolutely nothing about. And I mean absolutely nothing about. I don't know the first thing about the game of golf. He is one of the top 10 golf instructors in the world. And that's what he said to me. So I have to do my homework. I had to learn some things about the game of golf in order for me to be able to do this. I had to study some things that golfers complain about in order for me to do this. I had to do my homework. Make sure you do your homework. The key to confidence is you have to do your homework. I hear people all the time who haven't done any research. It's like, did you check to see what people were looking for? Well, no, I never thought about that. Well, that's your homework. Your homework assignment is so important that you do the research prior to diving in and getting in over your head. So the first thing is the homework has to be done. Check. Make sure that homework is done. And then, and I love this, in person presentations, I was making a presentation to a doctor. And sometimes doctors think that they're so much smarter than the rest of the world. And I will challenge that every single time. But rather than challenge it, confront it face to face. This was the key to my presentation. What I said to that doctor was, I'm going to, in order for us to have a conversation here, I'm going to have to make some assumptions. If you hear me say something in one of those assumptions, stop me immediately and correct me. Now, you know what I just did to him? I just told him, I need you to pay attention. Does that make sense? What I was saying to him in essence was, I need you to pay attention. I gave him permission to interrupt me and tell me if I had made an incorrect assumption. Do you think the guy who thinks he's smarter than me is sitting on the edge of his seat waiting for me to make that mistake? You bet he is. And when I did, he said, hold it right there. This is one of those assumptions that you have incorrectly made. I said, great, let's fix that. What is it? And what it amounted to was that I assumed that he was paying a certain amount when in fact he was paying a much higher percentage of that. He was very proud of that. So we gave him lots of kudos for it. It allowed his ego to get a benefit from that, and he felt like he was putting me in my place, and I thought that was really cool. Okay, so make sure you do your homework. Number two, you have to pay very careful attention. You have to pay very careful attention to what you can't miss anything. I was talking with one of my clients the other day, and I said, 2 of your competitors went out of business. He said, when? I said, yesterday. He said, are you kidding? And I said, no, check it out. And so he pipes in their URL into his browser, and he went, you're right. You have to pay attention. And if I'm committed to a client, then you can be sure that I'm going to be paying attention. Okay. You'll know for sure that I'm paying attention. you have to give attention. That's one of the thing that comes from confidence is that you've been paying attention. The next one is you have to be flexible. I know some of these came from last week, right? Flexibility is extremely important in confidentiality and in confidence. If I'm going to be confident, then I have to be flexible enough that whenever that person asks me a question, I can pivot and go to that direction. The next one is I have to be insanely curious. How did I know that this client's, how did I know that this client's, the attention client, how did I know his competitor had gone out of business? Because I was insanely curious about his topic. And then the last one is innovation. And if I don't know an answer, my favorite response, my all-time favorite response is, I've got a couple of ideas. Let me check to see which one of those might be the best, and I'll get right back with you. And what did I just do? I just told them that they get the priority. I have a couple of ideas, and I do. I don't care what you give me. I'm going to have a couple of ideas about it. That's a true statement. What happens with it next? I'm going to find a way to find out. Hey, I had these two ideas. These were the two things that I thought would work, but I discovered that this one won't work for this reason, and this one won't work for this reason. But I do think that this over here will work. What you're telling the person when you make a statement like that, I have two ideas, or I have a couple of ideas. Let me see which one of those is going to work, is you're telling them you're going to work for them. And they're going to get a priority. That causes you to be confident. And confidence is extremely important as a creative business solution rule. Confident and enthusiastic. And now let me just run through some things that were on my mind. I'm going to show you where they came from, and we're going to take it from there. Okay. So if you looked at the creative business tech community this week, you'll know I posted in there a comment about Billy Mays on the perfect pitch video. I created a video 12 years ago on the anniversary of the death of Billy Mays, and I called it the perfect pitch video based upon his pitch video for the Awesome Augur, which I do think to this day is probably one of the greatest pitch videos I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm going to give you access to the slide deck right here. And we're going to take a look at the slide deck in just a minute. But that's the slide deck. Let's see. But that's the slide deck. This is the perfect pitch video, and I'll show you why in just a second. But I created this video on the anniversary of the death of Billy Mays 12 years ago. I've since used other video platforms, and so I've lost that original video. Don did find the video on YouTube, which is, and you can tell it's a really it's pretty old because of the quality of the video, but you get the point. This is the perfect pitch video. Today we got sidetracked on this whole webinar presentation thing, where the guy spends the first 15 minutes talking about himself and all of the amazing things that he's been able to do because he created this product. You don't hear any of that. And the guy who's probably pitched more products and made more money pitching products than anybody on the planet. Cool thing is, I ran into Billy Mays when he first started his career. We're the same age. I ran into Billy Mays when he first started his career, hung out with him for a whole day. It was awesome. And so when he died, I was troubled by that. And but I used that a while back. And here's the reason why it happened. This is how it came up. Okay, I think you'll find this kind of interesting. I have been a huge push toward using Bing as the as a search engine, and now Edge and Bing have merged together, and I'm going to show you some cool stuff. I can actually run Microsoft 365 from inside of my Edge browser, which I think is awesome. So if you're using Microsoft products at all, first of all, I will pray for you, because that's your, but I have a lot of them and I use it a lot with a lot of clients. So the when you go to Edge now, this is their search engine. Let me get this over here so you can see this. This is their search engine right here. Can you see that up in the upper corner right there? That's their search engine. And then they also have the ability to load your 365 product right inside the browser. How many of you think that's pretty cool? If you use Microsoft products, that's a pretty cool feature, right? Any response? So, because it's there, and I'm gonna walk you through how to use that in just a little bit, okay? Because there's some really cool things that you can do that we've never been able to do before, and they're just awesome. And that's, but the Bing engine right here, their new Chat GPT version of artificial intelligence is inside of their browser window, and it's right there. So you can actually do some really cool stuff with them. I'm gonna show you that in just a second. The other thing is, and this came up, Ryan and I did a presentation for a product. We'll show you that in just a little bit. But I ended up trying to make this video. The video is not for human consumption. It was a placeholder, but I realized we had this white space up here at the top. Well, on the platform that we had, the white space was just there, and all it did was it pushed the video down, which made it look dorky. So I actually created this little overlay and put it at the top of this. I'm gonna show you some other. We've talked about video overlays before. We went into great detail in the past about video overlays when we were using Usign. But the cool thing about inserting it as a text overlay is that I can change the presentation of that overlay as I go by moving my slider over here and having those things change and alternate. Okay. Now, I'm going to make a special offer to you all in just a little bit, like I did last week with the with JotForm. I'm going to give you all another special offer today. So I'm going to jump off of this presentation right here, and then we're going to yeah, I even have a 12-step program for people, Joy, who are Microsoft users. I'm just joking, but yeah, cool. All right, let's take a look at a couple of things here I want you to see. And the first one is, I'm going to go over here to the Edge browser so you can see that. Let me know if you can see that okay. Y'all able to see my little change in the screen here? Okay, cool. This has, like I said, right here is all of your Microsoft 365 tools are available for you right here. There's some other things like Outlook, which, you know, if you want to use your email server from Outlook, then that's available as well in this sidebar, which I kind of like. I kind of like this sidebar over here. I had a tool that does the same thing in Google Chrome, and it is extremely helpful inside of Google Chrome. I'm going to add to this Evernote, and Evernote is an amazing tool, and I've used it for a long time, for almost 14 years now. I've used Evernote. I have almost 5,000 notes in Evernote in 81 different notebooks. So it's a cool tool. But this, now I want to show you, because I like workflows because they make sense. So you've got the Excel 365 platform that's here. And of course, when I pulled up, what was the first thing I saw Billy Mays, and that was the reason why I got off on the Billy Mays sidetrack there. But you can open that up from inside of here, which is just, how cool is that? Right? I don't have to open up PowerPoint and all of that. I can literally do it. I can run everything inside of my browser. And I don't know about the rest of you, but running things from inside of the browser is extremely valuable. It allows me to streamline my workflow. I do and will and forever will use Google Docs. So I'm going to open up Google Docs and I'm going to do a couple of things here to show. I'll show you some really cool stuff. Okay. I'll open up my Google Docs account. And I'll show you a little workflow that makes a lot of sense. Let's pull up this article that I was working on that I showed you. So now I'm not a fan of Grammarly. I use Pro Writing Aid instead, but Grammarly is built into the platform for, which is better than nothing, but it's built into the Edge platform now. Are y'all starting to see an advantage here as I talk about these things? So I can take, I want you to see this. I can take this and copy this. When I hit copy, do you see that I just sent that selected text to chat? Do y'all see that? How cool is that? I didn't have to copy and paste it. I just copied it and it automatically put it into the text chat. Now, the cool thing about the AI program that Bing offers is that I can send this and it will record my last 10. All right. So this is it. Now, what do I want to do with this text? I want to rewrite it. I want to rewrite it for a 5th grader. And it's going to rewrite that text for me. You see that? Is that a convenient workflow? I can copy that. I can. Now, let me show you one more because I think this is really awesome. Let's open up ChatGPT. We could also open up Jasper, but let's use Google Docs. We'll use Bing and we'll use ChatGPT. Okay. Y'all don't pay attention to my access here. Now I have copied this, and then I can do this. Are you starting to get a vision for an easy workflow here? Now, this has still remembered what our original topic was, right? And this is what I copied. So I can ignore that. Or I can ask something new here. Does that make sense to everybody? Can you see how you can use this now as a workflow? that is almost magical. I've now shortened my time drastically. And I've got some other capabilities. I can compose something using these various tones right here. So I can take encourage customer reviews and testimonials. Let's just copy that. All right. And I'm going to now right there. And I want to say that in an informational way. And I want to write it as a paragraph, or I can write it as any of these right here. I want to write a long one. I'm going to generate the draft. Okay, Robert's asked a really cool question, which as soon as it's finished generating, I'm going to address that question. Because that's the most frequently asked question that there is about word count. And everybody wants AI to do their word count for them. I'm vehemently opposed to that. And let me explain to you the reason why. Number one, that removes the human editor from the equation. And if you remove the human editor from the equation, you don't know if you're providing to your clients useful information or not. So that's the first issue. The second thing is that the word count is, we somewhere we learned that word count was important, and it's not. The solution is important, not the word count. And I talked to a lady the other day who's writing a book on the topic of marketing, and she said, I've got this done and it's about 500 pages. And I said, do you know marketers very well? She said, I've been in the marketing business for 25 years. I said, how many of your colleagues are going to read a 500-page book? She went, well, none of them. I said, okay, so now we're at least we're on the same page. I know you've done your audience homework, so you understand that. So I said, most of the time you can limit your you can remove a big chunk of what you write and still get the point across. And she said, I know, I teach clients how to do that all the time with their copy. And I said that the goal isn't how many pages. And there used to be this magic number that you had to have 30,000 words or it wasn't a book. I don't know who creates that kind of crap, but that's all it is. So you do have the ability here to make it short, medium, or long. This is not going to be a specific word count, but the goal with AI, and it's really important that you understand this, that the goal with AI is, can I accomplish the goal in a few words, more, or a lot more? So they're trying to answer the same question, which in this case, when you look back up here, expand on the bullet point this text is talking about, blah, 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 blah. My point was that this keyword was expand. So do I want a short expansion of that, or do I want a long expansion of it? So let's just do a short one and we'll generate that again. Now, sometimes you need a certain character count or word count. And notice this just generated a single paragraph here. Now, if I were looking at this single paragraph, I would probably edit that and make it even shorter if my goal was to make it short. But you have character limitations on meta descriptions. You have character limitations on certain space requirements. I have landing pages that I want to make sure that everything appears above the fold. And so I have a limited amount of space that I can use. Let's see, somebody's trying to And there's Bob. And so those are times when I want to when word count or character count becomes important. But remember, your goal should be X number of words. Your goal should always be, have I satisfactorily answered the question? Now, what's happening right here is that have I satisfactorily answered the question in a long form, in a medium form, or a short form? That's the purpose of the link that's there. Still, the goal of the generator is to make sure that the task, which was to expand on this bullet point, the task has been accomplished in sometimes few words and sometimes more words. I have said forever, as a keynote speaker and as a workshop presenter and everything else that you could imagine, you give me a time frame and I will deliver exactly the same content in that time frame, whether it's 20 minutes or 2 hours, and you won't be able to tell the difference of what I put in or what I left out. And that's basically what you want to try to accomplish right here. That's a very long answer to a very short question, Robert, but I hope you understand the reason behind why I went into the detail of that. Because it's a flip in the way we think. I wrote the book, How to Read a Book for All It's Worth, to counter the word count, the book count, the pages, to counter all of that, because I don't read for volume, I read for value. And that became my mantra. I don't read for volume, I read for value. It wasn't, I read 6 books in this topic. It was, I got these things from the books that I read in the topic. So I was looking for the value. So you triggered me, Robert. You got me off on a topic that's near and dear to my heart. But does this sound like a really, can you see the value of this from a workflow standpoint? Let's take a look at the insights capabilities here as well. Okay. And you get all kinds of information here. Have any of you used Bing lately as a search engine? Let me show you something here that I think is really cool. Let's just in this case, I'm going to put in, because I'm working, one of my clients is a CBD oil company. And so we're going to put in here CBD oil. Okay. I want you to see what happens when you do this. You get your traditional Google kind of stuff over here. I think that there's there's a greater explanation here that's pulled from the schema in this case. But look at the amount of stuff that comes up over here under insights. Do you see this? And is this valuable to you? If you're doing research, how valuable is this from a research standpoint? And then you have all of this over here. This is the kind of Google doesn't deliver this. Remember the slides that we were talking about a while ago about doing your homework? If you're going to do your homework, this is the place to do the homework. Does that make sense to everybody? Because there's a ton of opportunity here. Great workflow, right? Remember, I've got all of these tools now available to me. Let's take this right here, right? Let's expand that. And here's the side benefits, or the health benefits. So let's just grab this content right here and back over here. Copy that. What happens when I do that? this case, what I want to do is write a blog post. I'm writing a blog post from this paragraph right here. Okay. I'll put the content right there. What do you think? What if we took, let's just take one point here. So this is my blog post. Let's think like a content creator for a minute. Let's do this. Let's take that paragraph right there, and we're going to copy that paragraph, and I'm going to create an email from this. Okay, so I want to change this up here to that paragraph, and I'm going to create a medium length email, and I'm going to do an email blast. Great question, Robert. The answer to that question is I'm using it just exact. I'm going to call this straight out of the box. This is just exactly the way that if you log in and you start from scratch, you'll get exactly what I'm getting right here. What do you think about that? Now, yes, this is Bing's chat AI interface right here with these tools embedded in it. All right. So now from a workflow standpoint, I've copied that. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to open a brand new. And there's my email. Now I can take a look at this email. I can apply all kinds of things to this email. My favorite thing to apply to this email is I'm going to go to Pro Writing Aid and Grammar Checker and Writing Coach, and I'm going to get and improve that document. And I have taught this program how to do the kinds of things. It saves the last 10, Joy. Saves the last 10. So you want to use it with another tool, so you're dropping that content someplace. So I just dropped that subject content, right, or that email content inside of Google Docs. And inside of Google Docs, now I'm going to take a look at this. Endocannabinoid is not a word that's easy so I'm going to add it to the dictionary. So I'm training the Pro Writing Aid how to use how to work with me. Now, see, this can alleviate, can ease sounds much better. And it's going to be a safer comment to make from an FDA standpoint, okay? And I'm going to leave the word generally there because that'll help FDA not frown on what I'm saying, okay? Now, this, if you have any questions or concerns, I like this. If you have any questions, let's keep our writing tight and neat, and that's the way I've been using the Pro Writing Aid, and so it's starting to pick up on those things that I would typically identify as being a problem. Does that make sense? So yes, I'm going to take it someplace where I can use it, because it's going to put these little hash marks right here instead of bullet points, so I can turn those into bullet points. Okay. So can you see how this would be helpful and how easily it integrates with everything else that you want to do? Now, if you're a Word fan and you would rather use Word and you would want to use Word inside of the window so that you're getting all the save capabilities and doing it inside the browser, then you can actually go back over here to 365 and you can open that up in Word. And I can create a new blank document here. And I can drop that content right there. Did your entire workflow just get easier? So I ask you again, is this the kind of content in this webinar that is helpful to you long term? Because I want you to be as successful as possible. So let's go back over here. And we had that blog post that we had created. Take the blog post from right here, generate a short blog post, a medium-sized blog post from this. Now, this is going to remain while I switch this window. Is that helpful? I think it's huge because I'm not even changing tabs. And I've literally got 3 tools, the chat, the compose, and the insights. I've got 3 tools that I have inside of the one tab. Are we getting a good blog post down here? As soon as it stops, I'm going to show you something else. And we're going to get about 2,000 words here. It looks like it has stopped just short of that. Okay. So now this has stopped just short of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over here. By the way, artificial intelligence loves the word expand. And when you do that, and it's going to, guess what it's going to do? I can finish this bullet point with any of the content that's been built over here. See, I took just this one sentence right here, and I've created all of this. You can see the reason why I got excited about Bing. Can you see why I got excited about Bing? Now, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what the current stats are, but I told you a couple of weeks ago that Bing managed to quickly, and I mean quickly, like in a span of just a couple of weeks, wrench 17% of the traffic away from Google. 17% in that world is a huge number, putting it up close to 20%. So that's amazing. And I can see why, because this kind of stuff is just this over here is this is the kind of improvements that Google hasn't made in years. Google has their little 3-pack. 3-pack is great because what that does is it tells you who's paying to be where. But this is we're going to answer your question. We're going to give you the best information that's available. All right. Any questions? Hopefully I've answered your questions as we've gone. I totally agree with you, Joy. I have not read the book The Circle, but it doesn't surprise me in the least that somebody, as a matter of fact, I do think I heard about it just in passing somewhere. But yes, to a dystopian extreme. And they really have had complete control over the information flow. And this is an opportunity for us to get a little bit of it back. The only things I read anymore are quick reads, Joy, unless I have some authors that I can't read more than a paragraph without having to take, a week to think through what that paragraph and the application of that paragraph is for me. But I prefer to have quick reads. I'm the victim of our Twitter world of brief short posts that make a lot of sense. So my favorite is anything written by William Zinsser. You'll read a paragraph and you'll take forever. He's the master of the 3-word title. Professor Zinsser died a few years back. Zinsser. Go to any hardware store and look for shellac, and you'll get the name. Okay, but William Zinsser, his family owned the shellac company in New York City, and he didn't want to be in the paint business anymore. He decided he was going to become a journalist. And so he was a journalism professor at Harvard for years. But his 3-word titles are amazing. And one of my all-time favorite, and I read it frequently. As a matter of fact, I just read it a month ago again for like the 14th time, is called Writing to Learn. And that's such an intriguing title that you just can't just read through it. You're not reading it for volume, you're reading it for value. It changed my whole world. All right, any questions? Now I'm going to talk about my little offer here for just a minute. No, I have not, Joy. For those of you who don't know my other gig, the other thing that I do besides the stuff I do with you, is I train authors. So the reading a book tangent is easy for me to get lost on, Joy. but I have a little group with about 32,000 authors in it. Okay, cool. Thank you, Joy. All right. The offer is simple. I don't have the sales page for it today, so and I'm not selling anything. What I'm doing last week, I gave you the same kind of an offer, and I said that because we have maxed out our JotForm account, we're going to have to move up to the next level. Anybody who wanted to take anybody who wanted to take JotForm and use it to build a business with, that's what we do. That's one of the things that Ryan and I do together. And if you want to do that, we'll be glad to take you in, train you how to do that, and give you access to our enterprise platform so that you can do that. And you got all of the tools and capabilities of the enterprise platform without having to pay for it. We'll actually give you access to that for free, and we'll take you on if that's what you want to do. But that has to be if that's what you want to do. So today I have a similar kind of an offer for anybody who might be interested. I have spent the last year and a half focusing on SEO and search engine results and that kind of a thing. And so I've gone through numerous courses and got a ton of certification. High enough, can't jump over it. And have worked with numerous clients and seen their results change drastically and increase significantly. In fact, I'm going to give you a number right now. We started with a client a month ago, and their average revenue per viewer was $6.93. I just checked a few minutes ago. In fact, let me give you the live number, because I keep track of the live number. I'll give you the live number right now, because I do pay attention. We talked about attention a while ago. The number is $12.17 per visitor. So we nearly doubled. A little while ago it was 14 something, but we've nearly doubled the number of the amount of revenue per visitor. That's the direct result of conversions. It's not the direct result of more traffic. It means that we're converting more of the visitors. Now, when you're talking about 18,000 visitors a day, that's a significant number. So, and we just discovered something from a competitor's standpoint, that the competitor jumped 12 percentage points in 3 weeks because of a single tactic that they used. And so we now know how to we know how to hack into that tactic. And by hack, I mean that in the most polite, correct sort of a way. So if you know anyone who would benefit from a competitive analysis of their website, and it's not inexpensive, but I will pay you $300 for every client that you would bring to me who would be interested in doing that. That's the magic, Robert. Robert says, how are you increasing that kind of performance? That's the magic. We apply a simple principle called "Don't make me think." We shorten the number of clicks from 5 to 3. We've done some other tactics so that we're driving highly targeted traffic, not just traffic. And highly targeted traffic is much, much, much more valuable than just traffic. So if anybody had somebody that you would want to bring, I will pay you dearly for that. And just let me know. You don't have to let me know now. You may, in conversation with somebody, go, "Hey, I think I know somebody who can help you," and we'll help you. Well, I promise you, we'll help them. We'll help them drastically. That sound like a fair offer? That's even better than an affiliate offer. We do all the lifting. We just take the relationships that you have and we build on them. And it can be just about anywhere. I'll give you the variety of clients that we've worked with. Obviously, one of them is in the CBD business. We've got clients that are golf instructors. We've got clients that are marriage counselors. We've got clients of every kind of an arena that you can imagine. The principles are exactly the same. The tools, tactics, and tricks that we use are exactly the same. They just fit in a particular arena. All right, if there's nothing else, like I said, if you're remotely interested in either one of those, either the JotForm offer or the competitive analysis offer, let me know. I will, and you can, y'all know how to get a hold of me. And so just hit me up, and I'll be glad to hook you up with the things that you need. I was working on the sales page for that just a little bit ago, and then I fell into this whole world over here with this, and I just had to share this with you today. So I wanted you to see that. Tony's asked me how I'm doing, and I'm doing very well. I'm feeling really good now, and this last go round, I think, is going to be a big solution to some issues I had. So yeah, Joy, the JotForm is everything from something as simple. I like my nephew's son, who's 11, is creating fishing lures, and he's trying to sell them through his Facebook page. You know what his problem is? He has no way to take an order. So we create an order form for him. Simple piece. Larry was on. We had people who went to a blacksmith gathering a couple of years ago, and we took the people who were at the blacksmith gathering and we made it possible for them to take orders, including credit cards, with a phone rather than having them do it with a credit card processor and all of that kind of garbage that went with that. So we use JotForm for everything, and we're getting ready to launch a site that will have user-generated content, and we even have a reward system built into that for user-generated content, which is exactly what we did at the blacksmith gathering, and we ended up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images as a result of that, because people love computer-generated content or user-generated content. So if you and you'll stumble onto things. We're working with a Chamber of Commerce right now, and one of their clients is Grills Weenie Wagon, and Grills has no way of taking an order, and so we're going to literally create an app for him that allows him to be able to take orders from the app, and then they just drive by his Weenie Wagon and pick up their lunch to go. He has a Weenie Wagon and a treat truck. So does that help, Joy? Yeah, and I'll do a little bit better job of laying that out. And then there's the other offer is I'll have Olga on next week. I'm going to try to have Olga on next week. She's been out for a week to talk about the new changes in the AI improvements at Elfsight as well. So another one of those solution providers. Okay. All right. With that, I'm going to wrap up. You all have an amazing weekend, and take care of yourself and get those creative ideas rolling. And I'll talk to you next Friday, same time, same place. If you need anything in the meantime, hit me up. Any one of the multiple ways you've got to be able to get in contact with me, and I'll be glad to respond. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to talking to you soon.